This happens all the time. You have a physical model and you're like, that's just not gonna work. Because you've been twisting it around on a screen the whole time or sketching it in 2D and you're like, the scale's wrong, something's not quite right about it. My name's Leon Fitzpatrick. I'm an industrial designer and I'm based at the University of Queensland, working on the Artificial Heart Frontiers program. So the nature of the problem is heart failure. It affects tens of millions of people throughout the world. And the grant is focused on supporting research into current and future states of the problem, particularly with the intervention or mechanical heart intervention. So a broad term for the devices that we're looking at are MCS devices. So that's mechanical circulatory support. That goes from total artificial hearts to smaller ventricular assist devices or VADs that attach to the heart and keep the heart pumping. Our focus in design is not just solving the physical problems of the device, like the industrial design, but also understanding patient experience. So there are often quite large battery packs attached to these. So the way the batteries is one problem, keeping the batteries charged, and then deciphering alarms. So alarm goes off, what's happening?
So Leon and his team had an itch to see what VR could do to assist in the design process. So we took a few snapshots of the concepts that he already had and built a virtual prototype that also included some of the most basic logic around how the components connect and how the device itself might react when it's in use.
So I think VR is really interesting because it's iterative and you can drop something in, manipulate it once you've built it, figure out if that hypothesis was you heading in the right direction, and then if not, tweak it, bring it back in and try it again. The fascination I've had with it and what I'm very interested about and seeing it unfold before my eyes literally is this ability to iterate quickly or to bring in ideas and concepts and then manipulate them quickly and test things that in the physical world, like with a 3D print or a foam model, are difficult to simulate. And that would be particularly around user interface, cable connections and audio alarms.
What we realized immediately after implementing the virtual prototype was that as soon as the device is able to react to you with even the most basic logic, there's a feedback loop that immediately starts posing new questions about the design and the usability that you just wouldn't get from a static physical model.
We're working on grabbing and unplugging cables and seeing screens change and the audio alerts associated with the screen changes. So it's all those things working together. Being able to swap components around or iterate on it quickly, I think is such a different way of working, I think is really interesting.
You can't really beat VR in terms of the spatial nature of how it represents objects. Any designer who uses 3D CAD has spent probably days of their lives rotating objects around on screen to understand the shape of something. But from the second you hit run on a virtual prototype, you put the headset on, the things it tells you about your design and the questions it poses, they come thick and fast.
This happens all the time. You have a physical model and you're like, that's just not gonna work. Because you've been twisting it around on a screen the whole time or sketching it in 2D and you're like, and you get it out physically, that actually is absolutely, the scale's wrong, something's not quite right about it. So the VR environment is so great because there is, again, that iterative nature or you can update something quickly or feed it back in or, almost like it could be possibly be Sketch CAD VR, then print it. It's validity coming in at all these different stages.
So even now when I'm designing something for a simulation, I chuck the headset on and it's like, far out, what was I thinking? But hey, I guess you want to know how wrong you are as quickly as possible.
Yeah, so moving forward, it's the internal validation, testing these things out and making sure that they're on the right track. A next phase would be then using this as a research tool. So we now give these to patients to essentially get their feedback on, is this future design feasible? Another version would be then taking it into an actual product in the future where it's a simulation or training program for patients before they get the device. So quite often in a situation where someone's received a VAD or a TAH device, they have to be trained on this before they're allowed to leave the hospital. So I see this as like a test bed, design tool and as a future actual training product. I feel like VR's been around forever, but its applicability and its accessibility and usability is becoming recently so much more valid and so much more achievable or attainable.
Thanks to the current maturity of the VR development ecosystem, it's very quick and easy for us to set up a project and start experimenting with virtual prototypes. which makes it quite a fast and cost-effective way to start iterating and seeing what happens when somebody picks up your product. As far as introducing VR into the design process goes, it's still super early days, but we're going to keep documenting the process and see what risks or benefits it can yield.